Welcome to the real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. The real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. And now your hosts, Bill and Lee Howard.
Hello and welcome to the Real Ramblers. I am Bill. This is my brother Lee.
Wapatong, wapatong. That's the tauntaun. That's from last episode. I was trying to think of a character or a monster or something from the new trilogy to do.
I don't know. You could do. What about the Jawa? Then they make. I can't remember what
or
they make.
Babu Frick.
I loved Babu Frick. He was awesome. Yeah. He was so great.
Anyway, I can't do an impression.
Anyway, folks, enough of our rambling. Welcome to Star Wars Part 2. Not the movie Part 2, but our discussion Part 2.
We thought we'd get through the first two trilogies in 30 minutes, and if you listened to last week, that was fucking impossible.
Yeah. So we're way too invested.
We're going to do our best with this one, but I feel like we're going to have more to say about these ones than the last one.
Possibly. Well, we won't have more to say because for me, it'll just be like, liked it, hated it.
Yeah, but there's things I want to talk about.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. 2015, we got another new Star Wars movie, which we didn't think we were ever going to be getting sequels.
Disney had bought Star Wars or acquired Lucasfilm. Yeah. So to which it's funny how people are just like, oh, everything's being Disney-fied now. And I'm like, I don't really understand what that means. Star Wars has always been for kids, but again,
let's just never reference the idiots again.
Yeah, right.
Let's pretend they don't exist. It's the best thing to do.
What a wonderful world.
J.J. Abrams decided to take over
Jimmy John Abrams.
Jelly. I was trying to think of something.
Jolly Abrams.
Jelly. So JJ, whom I'm a big fan of.
I love JJ.
And I was very excited about him taking over Star Wars. So he gives us The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was another one of those experiences where I was like giddy for the 2 hours and 15 minutes or whatever through it.
I cried a few times in the theater watching Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because again, it was kind of like when when Phantom Menace came out and we were like, I never thought we'd see these movies. Yeah. And here we are again. And I was like, I never thought we'd see more Star Wars movies.
To get to see like old Han and stuff was just super cool.
Hey, kid. That's my Han impression.
That's good.
Which I ripped off from Mark Hamill.
Oh, right. Yeah. Hey, his Harrison Ford is great.
I don't sound anything like that.
It was awesome. And it's funny that even though the story is pretty much non-existent and pretty much just Star Wars over again.
Yeah, it is.
It didn't matter.
No, it didn't bother me.
No. Because there was enough fresh twists thrown into it, like one of the main characters being a former stormtrooper.
I love Finn. I love John Boyega.
Yeah, I'm Team Rey.
I love Rey too. That's the thing. Like, I love Rey.
Rey was my absolute favorite.
I love them both.
When I walked out of Force Awakens, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's only second to Luke.
Dude, I'm such a Rey fan, and it's fun. I don't mean to. Okay, we're not really going to talk about piss babies, but it's funny that there were a lot of people complaining about her, saying that like she has like no training and she can do all this. It's like, for one, Luke.
That's the point.
Luke had literally a day of training with Obi-Wan before he died, and on Dagobah, it's canon he was only in Dagobah for 3 weeks. Right. And Rey, she's been on her own forever. Like, she knows how to use that staff. She's a fighter. You know how I'm
going to explain that? The interstellar thing. Dagobah was another planet. Maybe it had different gravitational forces. So maybe his 3 weeks were the equivalent on other planets of like 4 years.
Maybe, but supposedly it's canon that he was there 3 weeks. But and managed to do just fine. So also it's like Rey is one with the Force, so the Force helps her. But she's like lived on her own forever, and she's like learned how to survive. So for me, it's like it makes all the sense in the world. She knows how to fight.
Yeah, her life is what attuned her to that.
Yeah,
and
her
that's
life
where
has
she
been
got
survival.
The skills.
Yeah,
and they just translated through the Force.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fucking right.
But yeah, her character, Daisy Ridley's performance of that character was absolute brilliance.
Yeah.
She was just, she was immediately captivating. And same with Poe. He was great too.
I love me some Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, he was great. And brought that, he kind of brought the Han Solo smartass back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Finn, they were a perfect trio.
They really were.
I loved the bond between them.
I really feel it became such a fan fan cast. That's not the word I'm looking for. But people were like, they're a throuple. For sure. Because it's like you see certain way, and it's funny just like thinking about it like that, certain ways that Poe like looks at Finn when he's like, you're wearing my jacket, and he kind of like looks him up and down like it looks good on you. It's like, ooh, you guys, it's Three's Company, but you guys all live together. That's nice.
And then Force Awakens also, they were great together. But Force Awakens also gave us those iconic moments that I think we may not have got out of the prequels as much. For me, the main first one was when they introduced Kylo and they shot that.
Holy shit.
They shot the gun and he stopped the laser bolt
and held it there.
I was just like, what the fuck is that?
Kylo.
Deflecting it is one thing, but
holding it, we've never seen stuff like that. Kylo, for me, I was like, this dude has the potential to be like the most complicated. An interesting Star Wars character or villain, not even villain, but character. Because I loved, we're going to get into it with the others. I loved the potential I loved the, the potential, but also the fact that he was like an opposite of Vader. I love the fact that he was a bad guy, but he was being pulled to the light side. He was fighting, trying not to be good. And that was so fucking interesting. You know? Oh, God, I love that.
And that he was obsessed with Darth Vader.
I love that.
It was cool that he had that, like, it was somebody he looked up to.
This weird hero worship for like a mass murderer.
It was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
When we saw this in the theaters for the first time, that blew my mind. Like his intro. It was intriguing immediately because them being like, we're trying to find the map to Luke Skywalker. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like it pulled me in so fast.
Yeah, me too.
Finn's story is such an awesome, like a defected stormtrooper. We've never seen anything like that. It's amazing.
And they repeated the Boba Fett thing by having Captain Phasma in it for almost no runtime, but immediately iconic.
Gwendolyn Christie, is that her name? Yeah, she's a fucking queen. She's incredible.
Love her.
Phasma is one of, also, again, this movie had so much potential for amazing things. Because incredible. Phasma, like, not only just is she amazing as an actress, but like the look of Phasma,
amazing,
so fucking cool.
Chrome armor with a cape. Come on,
you don't get cooler than that.
Badass. And with her size, it was just
amazing
that she towered over the stormtroopers and stuff. It was very cool.
Oh God, so good. The first time in the theater when they were like, Finn and Rey meet up and they're running and stuff, and they're like, that one, looking for the ships, and she's like, that one's garbage. And
that's the other iconic moment.
I cried when they showed the fucking Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe I was seeing it again.
And it was so genius. I don't know whether it was JJ or the writers.
Right.
But it was so genius to have them refer to it, then dismiss it and run and not show us.
Yeah.
To say that's a hunk of junk and keep running.
You didn't even see it at first either.
Like, because I think anybody else would have been like, hunk of junk, show it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So the fact that they referred to it, then kept running was awesome. Yeah. And then they blow up that ship and they're like, let's go back to the hunk of junk. And then it's like
oh
reveal.
My God.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah. And then, of course, Han and Chewie coming back was...
What a character, by the way, a fucking ship became.
Seriously, right? It's just, it's a ship and it's so iconic.
Yeah.
Just the ship means so much to people. It's amazing.
It does. I love the Millennium Falcon.
And then Han showing up.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just, this movie, like, in like a good way, raised so many questions that made, like, why doesn't Han have the Falcon anymore?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, just like all that stuff was so awesome. And like, I like that Han liked Rey right away.
Yeah.
Like immediately he was just like, all right, you can fly my ship, kid.
Yeah. He was us.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. The things that made me excited in this movie, that just, it got me so excited for, at the time, the future of them. That whole scene where they go to that bar or whatever, and Rey is being pulled into the basement by something. Yeah. And you hear fucking Obi-Wan, you hear Qui-Gon, and like they're like, Rey, these are your first steps.
Yeah.
And it's like the lightsaber literally called to her.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is going to be something big. This means something. Like, holy shit, this is something really epic.
Same. I was like overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. And just the lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo on the, I mean, I'm kind of jumping to the end, but was in the snow.
Amazing.
Holy shit. And it's funny because this one had a bit more humor than the other ones, but I feel like it worked really well. Like,
it felt very natural.
When Kylo was like flipping out and like destroying that room with a saber, and those stormtroopers were like come walking, and they're just like
they walk away,
and then walk away. It was so funny.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I love, I still do. I love The Force Awakens.
Yeah, me too.
I was, it was obviously great to see Carrie Fisher back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was great to see Carrie Fisher and Han reunited.
Yeah.
I remember because we did see this in the theater, you and I and a bunch of other people. And I remember when that scene and Han walks out onto the long pathway, and you were like, I was just like, I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, I think he signed on for the rest. No, he's not. No. And I was just like, it's
hard to believe in that time they actually kept kind of a secret.
Yeah, very surprising.
You'd think they would have been in the trailer, like the first thing they show is Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Han dies.
yeah, like or it would have been leaked or something, like really quick,
Yeah.
And then when that scene happened, which was like shot so well and stuff too, and Chewie freaking out, like made me.
That's the part. Even right now,
me too. We're such losers.
Even right now, oh my god, I'm literally crying.
I know it's because it's like these characters mean so much.
That was more for me. Han dying wasn't as powerful for me as Chewie yelling.
Losing his friend.
I'm literally crying.
Yeah. I get it though. That's the power of these movies, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. Just the whole and it's funny, I remember too, like the whole movie I'm like, where the fuck is Luke? I was really surprised. I thought it was such a surprising choice.
I was pissed.
I was kind of pissed
that they were like, here's Luke, end credits.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Cool, now we get to wait fucking 3 years for another one.
I was mad.
Overall though,
little did I know how mad I would be later.
Overall, I love Force Awakens.
Yep.
I think
it's right up there with the best for me.
In retrospect, and this is like not a hot take or nothing, they should have, because JJ had an outline for the next movie.
Yep.
Which I think I remember reading some of, and it was fucking totally dope.
Yeah.
They should have Disney, whoever, either sign JJ to make all three, or
that's what I think.
They should have. That should have been the number one thing. Or if his outline or whatever, it should have just been like whoever they hire, kind of like with Marvel movies. They're like, this is what we're doing with the movie. Now direct it and make it whatever.
Yeah.
Because it set up so much stuff. The Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Fucking all this stuff, right?
It's funny now that we're in 2024 and late last year. It's funny that everybody's kind of coming out in interviews now that we're in it.
Right.
Giving their opinions on what happened.
Right.
And a lot's coming to light.
Yeah.
Like there's been interviews with John Boyega and with Adam Driver. Adam Driver said the arc of his character was completely different.
Yeah.
And that it was supposed to go to a completely different place. And he said that he was really unhappy with where it went.
Yeah.
Same with John Boyega, said the same thing. I said there was other things.
They did John Boyega so fucking dirty.
Yeah. And then Daisy Ridley said hers was supposed to go in another direction, and which she loved, and she didn't like where it went, and she said she'd never do Star Wars again. And then she said when she read the script for this new movie that's coming out with her, she said she thought it made up for it.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm
really, really, really hoping and excited.
Yeah.
If she said that she would come back, especially after... I don't want to keep going to this well, but just
there's no reason for her to go back to Star Wars. She's doing well. She's still fine, making tons of movies, and
but just the backlash to a lot of the stuff. Like we'll get into Rose Tico, who I feel so bad for that actress because it's like
her character.
She's a great actress and everything, and it's like the fact that she had to delete all her social medias because of like misogyny, racism, all this shit. Like holy fuck, you get a job in a Star Wars movie as an actor?
The Piss Babies again.
I know it's hard not to because it was such a
in Star Wars
surrounds it, right?
To.
Boy, oh boy. Okay, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
The first time I saw this movie, I straight up hated it.
And one, I was really looking forward.
I remember. You know, it's funny in my Facebook memories when the trailer first came out.
Yeah.
Was a post from you, and you're like writing to me and like, holy shit, like what's going on? This looks crazy.
Yeah.
And we were excited, right? And so the first time I saw it, I hated it.
Yeah.
And I only saw it once in the theater.
Me too. I walked out angry.
I was pretty fucking furious.
Yeah.
And then the second view is
we've talked on some other episodes about how one of the things that gets me most angry as a movie lover is character betrayal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it. My examples are always the Die Hard franchise and the Lethal Weapon franchise. I think both of those franchises betrayed their main character.
Yeah.
And you can't fucking do that.
No. You
just can't.
Here's the okay. So on my second viewing, the second time I saw it when it first came like on Blu-ray or whatever, I watch it and I was like, holy shit, maybe I really like this. Maybe this is actually brilliant.
Right.
Time goes by, I watch it again. No, I don't like this at all. And I've been on that ever since. Ryan Johnson. There's some scenes Ryan Johnson, obviously a great filmmaker. Yeah. He's made incredible things.
Yeah.
He's a talented dude. The movie visually is cool and stuff. But the fact that he literally, I mean, they were like, here's JJ's outline and everything. It was literally Luke chucking the lightsaber over his shoulder. Yeah. That was everything.
Which I remember, it opened with that scene and I'm sitting in my seat and I'm so excited. And I'm like, I've been waiting years to find out how he's going to react to his lightsaber.
He's wearing his Jedi outfit
and
for 5 seconds.
Yeah. And he, when he threw it over the shoulder, not only was the action of doing that offensive to me, but I didn't even like the way Mark Hamill did it.
Right.
He did it comedically.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was his choice or he was instructed to do it that way. But it was, people laughed in the theater.
Me too.
And I was like, what the fuck was that? And at first I was
like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So like 5 minutes into the movie, I'm angry.
Yeah. And then he immediately changes out of his Jedi robes and puts on just like regular, like black clothes and stuff. That's in my
and then does dumb shit like drinks from that animal and then looks like he's in a fucking commercial when he wipes his mouth. It's just so...
Yeah, it's like, here's
dumb.
The things I wrote down real quick that made me mad, that dismantled it. So Kylo Ren, obviously amazing. What do they do? Take off that helmet. No helmet.
Yeah. One of the most badass helmets in all of Star Wars.
The Knights of Ren, not even in the movie.
Not even
in the movie. Luke,
I wanted to see them so bad.
Luke, not a Jedi, turned himself off from the Force, not even wearing the Jedi robes. Cool. Yeah. Finn completely fucking sidelined.
Yeah.
Like he had nothing. Rey's heritage, which we were, people go back and forth on it. Like, should she be somehow related to whoever? And then in this one, like, and they alluded to it kind of in Force Awakens that she's somehow connected. And in this one, it's just like, nope, you're nobody.
But from Force Awakens, my assumption was she was a nobody and her only connection was through the Force.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
I would have been fine with that too. Like people
not
are like,
everybody has to be related to somebody.
And I'm fine with that too.
I like that it was just literally the Force saying you.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah. Yeah. You can still be a chosen one without having like a Skywalker bloodline or whatever, right?
Of course.
Knights of Ren, where? Phasma, gone.
Yeah.
Like the one fight and then she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
again, highly, highly trained, specialized warrior that gets done in by nothing.
Yeah, just like falling debris and shit. I appreciate that they want to do something different, but they should have stuck to the fucking story that they set out. It's the Leia stuff.
What were some of was the scene with the big Star Destroyer and Poe's like...
Oh, yeah.
Was that
General
in that
Hugs.
One? Yeah. And then he turns around and comes at it?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah,
there was a couple, and the Red Room battle was awesome.
It was really cool. Yeah, and that's another thing. Snoke.
Oh my god,
they were setting up Snoke like he was going to be like this big thing.
Snoke,
and then it was just like nothing. They just killed him, and we never really.
Snoke was so cool, and then when they did the whole thing in it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
he's this super powerful dude, and you just tricked him and cut him in half. Like, it didn't make any sense.
And fucking oh god, what's his name? Like don't join the Empire. Oh, what's his name? Fucking like Benicio del Toro was in it.
Yeah. I didn't like him.
Just the whole the Canto whatever, that casino planet.
That was all terrible.
I can appreciate them trying to show a portion of the universe that's like, here's all the rich people that don't give a fuck about the actual things going on. I get that, but just to have like this like side mission that results in nothing for Finn, who, I mean, they were setting Finn up to be a Jedi, and they fucking should have done that. I mean, he was holding a lightsaber on the original poster. We'll get to that in the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was so much wasted opportunity. Luke died. I watched a thing. You know what sucks is like Mark Hamill now apparently is more like, I came around to it and stuff. But you can see,
isn't really though.
No,
I've
you
seen
can see so many interviews
where he's like, I didn't agree with it.
He's like, I fundamentally disagree with what they're doing. He's like, I had to in my mind like pretend I was Jake Skywalker.
I saw one interview with him where he said that when he got the first draft of it, he was like, this isn't Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
He was like, Luke doesn't give up.
No, Luke represents hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luke's whole thing from the first 3 movies was no matter what the odds, he will not give up.
Yeah,
he
to
just
have him be like,
that.
I had a vision of this kid and I was going to kill him for a split
So he's like,
second.
I'm going to quit because of what might be.
Yeah.
Dumb.
It was...
If the Luke we know...
Yeah.
And just shut up, any of you who are listening and are like, oh my God, he's a geek. If the Luke we knew had a vision that Kylo would turn into something, Luke would have done everything he can to make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah.
He would have took him under his wing.
Yeah.
And he would have taught him the right way.
And said, I saw this as a possible future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
It was bullshit.
Oof baboof. It was bullshit.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty pissed off about that. The fact that in this trilogy, this new trilogy.
Not to mention the big battle at the end. I love the setup. And after being
on Crate?
Yeah.
It was cool. It looked cool.
The ship fight on Crete was great with the red sand. And
that was
really cool battle.
Yeah.
But when Luke comes out, my hope was reinvigorated because I was like, this scene might redeem everything. And I was so excited. And I wanted, in my brain, I was like, you know what's going to happen? He's going to come out and he's going to use the Force to fucking just flatten AT-ATs and shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be like the powerful Jedi we want to see.
Yeah.
This is the moment. And then he comes out and it's like, and then the fight, well, first it was the thing where they all fire at him and he's still there. And I was like, oh,
what's going on?
That's kind of cool. And then, but again, if I was making it, I would have been everything gets deflected.
Yeah, of course.
Not just absorbed, and he's not because
because he was a projection.
Yeah, and then he goes to fight. Kylo's like, "I'm going down there and kicking his ass," and I'm like, "Fucking go!"
Yeah.
And then he goes down there,
nephew.
And then the fight's super fucking short.
Very, yeah.
It started off neat. I liked the little clue of like when his foot slides in the sand and Luke's doesn't.
Oh right,
kick up the red.
Right, okay,
which shows he's not there.
Yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
And then when they actually do the moment where you realize he's not there, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. It's like, even in a world of like
not Star Wars. How did the fucking thing in the cave happen where his ghost handed something to Leia?
I don't understand.
How the fuck could that happen?
I don't understand. The fact that that's the only scene we got in this trilogy where the original 3 interacted. Like, we never got a scene. Luke and Han never shared the screen again. And that is a fucking crime.
Yeah. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah. So the only other cool thing was when, I didn't love Holdo, the character. Like, she just came out of nowhere, Laura Dern. But but it was neat when the ship was like, and like shot. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Cool.
But otherwise, I'm not very happy with it. So this will bring us.
We like when they do noises like that.
Yeah.
Like the like Attack of the Clones, Jango Fett's bombs in the asteroid field.
The sonic bombs.
Yeah,
totally cool.
So cool. Okay, so Rise of Skywalker.
I rewatched Last Jedi and this recently because it had been a while since I've seen them.
Yeah. I rewatched it not too long ago, 6 months ago, maybe.
So it's funny because I feel like fucking imagine you're in a car, you're driving on the highway, and that is Force Awakens. Then all of a sudden, you swerve too hard and the car like fucking really starts swerving, and then you try and overcorrect too hard.
Yeah.
And Rise of Skywalker is an overcorrect too hard.
So the first thing I'll say is I didn't like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I still like Last Jedi less.
Right.
But J.J. Abrams said, I swear he said in an interview, that there is a cut of Rise of Skywalker that's his cut.
Okay.
That's 3 hours.
Huh.
And is completely different from the one we've seen.
I haven't heard that, but
being Star Wars, they'll probably never release it because Star Wars isn't into that.
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine? Now, Rise of Skywalker to me feels like a series of skits.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a cohesive arc of a story.
It felt like
it felt like now they're here, watch.
Yeah.
It felt like levels of a video game.
It felt like a fan service apology for the last one.
Done wrong.
Done wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
And I know that they had
It's like an apology when somebody apologizes to somebody and says, I'm really sorry that you feel that way.
Yes, totally. Thank you for, fuck you.
Yeah, that is not an apology.
Yeah. Fucking asshole. Yeah, it's like, I know a little bit of it was impacted because Carrie Fisher died.
Yeah.
And they were like, this movie was going to be more her movie.
Hey, by the way,
stuff.
which one had Carrie in space?
The last one.
Okay. A lot of people hated it. I'm sensing from the look on your face you hated it. I thought it was really fucking cool.
I thought it was a cool idea. I thought it just kind of looked goofy. But I like the idea of it. I like seeing her being a Force user.
Yeah.
Because that's something I always
You know what's really funny is I remember somebody commenting on that when the movie came out and said, you're in space, you just die. And I'm like, it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you really going to argue that it wasn't scientifically correct?
Yeah. Wookiees, Yodas, that can happen. That's horseshit.
Yeah. Star destroyers within a planet's atmosphere and still floating.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. There's no engines
That's where I draw the line.
There's no engines. There's no...
That's so true.
It's just floating in an atmosphere.
Yeah. The science checks on that.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that scene was cool.
I liked the idea of it. I thought it looked a little silly, but I didn't mind
it. But
there was other things I
think
hated
I was
more.
just overwhelmed by the fact that we finally got to see Leia doing something.
Me too, dude.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But anyway, continue.
So fucking Rise of Skywalker starts, and it's like I see people make fun of this all the time, rightly so. The most explanation we get, somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
No more talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird that it just started immediately, like, even
and
in
I
the
also
crawl,
didn't like that when Kylo gets there, he walks past the vat and you just see the vat and you're like, oh, so Snoke was just garbage.
Yeah. It's just like they're just trying to be like...
There was nothing powerful about him at all.
Form, like, so he was like maybe a clone. Don't talk about it. There was a vat. That's enough. You draw your own conclusions.
Yeah.
It's fine.
There was a dude working at the vat. They make Snokes. they crank them out like Twinkies. It's no big deal.
Yeah. It was so just like, ugh. And then, I mean, the Emperor looked cool, but it seemed like, who cares at this point?
Between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, I don't know if I've said what so many times.
It's so,
in 4 hours.
Yeah. So that's what I wrote. Also... again, they hint at Finn being a Jedi in this. Hey, Rey, I really got to tell you something. And it's like a couple times he's like, I can feel it. Never, they don't even mention it again.
Yeah.
It's horse shit.
Yeah.
Justice for Finn. Yeah, we never got one scene in the original 3. What are your thoughts on? Oh yeah, Rey's a Palpatine.
A what?
Rey is.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, because it's like, when the fuck did this guy have a family?
Yeah.
Like, we saw him as the senator, and then he got all like mangled from Mace Windu's lightsaber. Well, I mean,
he had a whole life before he was the senator
but still,
guy, because he was pretty old at that point.
It seemed way too...
Oh, it was dumb. I didn't like it at all.
I thought it was way too, like, just plugging it in. Like, no, he had a family.
Yeah. I can only imagine that the story sessions for the writers for this movie were, like, very, very much fueled by cocaine.
Yeah.
Like, it just worried. None of it makes sense.
We got to make the fans happy. Which is why they brought JJ back.
But obviously they really didn't think about that.
No.
No.
Like, cool to see Lando again.
Yeah.
But then it was just, and there was, I can't remember that new.
But that's what I mean about the skit thing. It's like, now they're on this planet, there's Lando.
Yeah.
Now let's ignore that entire skit and go on to a new skit.
Yeah.
Like, nothing connected. And then they go to that other planet where there's like a war going on or something, and they're
right. Yeah.
Where they're searching buildings for them and
when
stuff.
they go to like Babu Frick.
Yeah.
Which,
and that
again, funniest
scene
part.
felt disconnected to the rest of the movie. Like, it all felt disconnected.
It was just like point form ideas that were filmed.
Yeah.
Like in Finn or Poe, he used to be on this planet. He was a drug dealer. He knew that girl. Anyway, blah, 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 real quick.
Yeah. Was this the one with the fake out with the ships with Rey holding the ship?
Where you think that
that scene was cool.
That was neat.
To see Rey be able to do something that I wanted to see Luke do.
Yes.
Because I remember playing back in the day, the Force Unleashed games.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene in one of those games where the main character actually brings down a Star Destroyer.
Right.
And in the game, I was just like, oh my God, fuck, that's so cool.
Incredible, yeah. It's what you always...
And I wanted to see Luke do shit like that.
Yeah. That's where we thought she killed Chewie.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, if this happens, I'm going to burn this theater down.
But see, that part was effective. It was well done.
Because it shocked me,
because it was a fake out and it was cool. Like seeing her and Kylo both pulling at the ship, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then seeing her not be able to control it from no training and the ship, like that was cool. But again, it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, I also, okay, and then like Kylo, hey, he rebuilds the helmet. And it looks cool with the red in it.
Yeah.
But it's just like then his...
That's also funny, though, is that they have the technology to make Star Destroyers, but they can't mend a helmet without it having red spots on it. Like, couldn't you find the welding stuff that was in black? It didn't come in black?
There was a deleted scene where he's like, do it in red. Do it in red. I don't want the black.
No, not that red. Kind of an orangey red.
Yeah. So then he becomes like good at the end again, and it's like I don't like there was like this weird like kind of love connection.
Some cool environments. The crashed. What was the big thing?
That was kind of neat on Endor. They were back on Endor.
Yeah.
And that
was really neat.
Death Star.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like that they put the love connection. It sucks because like, in Force Awakens, they were setting up kind of like a romance between Finn and Rey.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, reasons that aren't very good that they're like, we don't want that couple to be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like really shitty racist reasons, let's just say it. Because also...
I was hoping for a relationship between Chewbacca and Babu Frick.
No, Chewbacca...
Just because I want to see how it works.
Chewbacca and what's her name? She is the orange woman. She was like, where's my boyfriend? In the first one. I forget what her name was.
Right. I forgot about that.
I think Lupita Nyong'o did the voice for it. Yeah. They should have got together because she loved
I liked that character too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Who also apparently was a Force user.
Yeah.
There's a deleted scene where she's holding like the building falls in and she whatever. But anyway, yeah, because in overseas where a lot of movies make a lot of their money, there are places that are racisty, and Finn was like they wouldn't put him on the poster or anything like that, and that's fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
So now it's like
way to uphold your artistic integrity, folks.
So goddamn stupid. Anyway, so yeah, I just think that whole movie was a massive overcorrection. One thing I do want to talk about that's funny that
I'm just going to hold out hope until the day I die that maybe they'll let JJ do his director's cut.
Maybe, yeah. Now it's funny at the end where Rey goes back to Tatooine, and she buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers. I didn't mind that stuff.
Yeah.
And when that person's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, Rey Skywalker. And a lot of people were like so pissed about that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, the whole movie's about just like being proud of who you are. But I'm like, hold up. Let's just say you found out your grandpa was Hitler. Would you be like, hey, I'm Rey Hitler? Like, you're not going to do that. So it's like you can choose your identity, right?
So it was her choosing an iconic force of good that affected her
positive
life.
Influence. And she trained with Leia. That stuff was really cool. I did like that.
Yep.
So yeah, she wants to carry on that name because that name also in the galaxy inspires hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That name carries weight to it. So obviously she's not going to be like, yo, I'm a Palpatine, because everyone's going to be like,
I just saw a thing from a panel that Mark Hamill was doing just recently, like the clip was new. And he said, somebody asked something in the audience. I don't know what it was because it wasn't in the clip. But then Mark Hamill said, you know what? You're right. Luke OD'd on the Force. That's how he died.
That too. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty funny because it is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You know what's dumb about that stuff is, does nobody remember on Dagobah that Yoda, when Luke tried to lift the X-Wing, and then Yoda was like, it doesn't matter how much it weighs.
Right.
Like the size of the job doesn't matter.
Matters not. Yeah.
None of that matters. So it's funny that the thing he did in Last Jedi drained him so much he died.
Yeah.
When it's not supposed to have an effect. If you know the Force and you're good at it, it requires no effort.
Yep.
Because it's natural.
Yeah.
So it's dumb that it made him die.
I totally agree. Yeah. So
and really, he just projected himself. Is it really that hard? Come on.
But he had to carry those dice.
True.
Heavy dice.
True. Stupid.
So like we can kind of like try and kind of skip through a little bit if we can, the other ones, the offshoot ones, just for time.
Yeah, we're good. We're at 30. We're like halfway.
Okay,
if we're going to do another hour, so we're good.
So that's where it ended up. I'm very hopeful that the Rey movie, the New Jedi Order, is awesome. I hope so. It still gets made. I would love for them to bring Finn back. Because he's been pretty he's pissed that what they did with him.
Yeah, I know.
Rightfully so.
They all are. The last interview I saw with Adam Driver, he seemed pretty pissed.
Yeah.
That it didn't go the way he wanted.
So if they maybe take it in a new direction, I would love for Finn to come back as a Jedi, because that would be incredible.
Yep.
And I just think that would be great to see.
Yep.
So we got, I think Solo was the first spin-off.
No, I think it was Rogue One.
Was it Rogue One?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I wrote Solo first, but I could be...
Doesn't matter what order we talk about that.
Okay. Let's go Rogue One.
But I'm pretty sure Rogue One was first.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's in maybe my top 3 Star Wars.
I think it's my
movies.
Top 1.
Really? Hey?
I think so.
I could, yeah. It might be my number 2.
The only thing about Rogue One that pisses me off is the shot of the TIE fighter that they showed in the trailer that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, you know about how... there's both Solo and Rogue One had a lot of issues when they were filming it.
Yeah.
And they so many reshoots and stuff. More so evident in Solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rogue One, there's so much stuff that they changed.
Yeah.
But I fucking love Rogue One.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
The cast is incredible.
Yeah.
Pacing's
great and the story's great.
Yeah.
And a lot of people complain that they're like, I don't want to watch a fucking movie. I already know what happens. And it's like, you know what the ultimate thing that happened, but you don't know what happens to these people.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're going to live or die. They could live. Just because you didn't see them in the other movies doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
They could have lived.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And I love that it kind of corrected that thing. Everyone's always like, oh, why is there a hole in a Death Star that you can blow it up?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, really? And it's like, yeah, now it makes sense because it was fucking built in there.
Yeah.
I loved the whole cast. I loved Jyn Erso. Every character was great.
Yeah. And my favorite droid in all of Star Wars.
I was just going to say that Alan Tudyk. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can see Andor breaking in a scene?
No.
Yeah, it's so funny. If you watch it, you can see him like starting to smile, and it was that one where they're on the planet and like the Empire is like, stop it right there, and he's like, he's a prisoner and I'm taking him. And then Andor says something and he smacks him.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, do you want a fresh one? You can see the actor playing Andor start to break a little bit and then they cut away because
he's got so many great lines when they're in the ship and he gives Jyn a gun.
Right.
And he's like, so she gets a gun. You're giving her a gun. I love that.
I won't tell you the odds of this thing. It's very high.
Or when she shoots the robot like him and he's like, did you think that was me? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah.
He was great. And he's just literally the coolest looking fucking robot design I've ever seen.
And sad when he sacrificed himself.
Oh man, that scene. That was just heavy.
The whole thing was so heavy.
Yeah.
Because you know the outcome.
Mads Mikkelsen as her dad.
So great.
Like he instantly, anything he's in brings a weight.
Yeah.
Same with Ben Mendelsohn. Both of those guys.
He was fantastic.
If you bring those dudes in, they give weight to any project.
Yeah.
And, I just remember those opening scenes of Rogue One with the Imperial shuttle flying over the planet going to their house.
Right.
And it was like it felt different immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt different, but also still felt very Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it felt like darker in a more serious way. Obviously, goddamn Baze and Sharut, the fucking
Donnie Yen.
Thank you. I can't remember the other guy's name.
No, from the Raid. I can't remember his name either. But
they are like my favorite Star Wars characters.
Same.
They're so.
Even though I don't know why movies always cast Donnie Yen as a blind guy. That was like his fourth blind guy role.
That's such a stereotype. He was incredible.
Amazing.
I wanted more of them.
I love their friendship.
Me too. Yeah. There's also a lot of internet people that are like, are they married? Because they talk very much like an old married couple.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's amazing. And they're so sad, like that when he dies, and it's like, oh, that gets me worked up too.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the setting, to see that final battle and see AT-ATs in a tropical setting.
It's crazy.
With palm trees and shit.
I love
Very
that. Like
cool.
when Donnie Yen's walking out and they're like, don't. And he's like, I'm one with the Force and the Force.
Yeah.
Like, this is getting me emotional.
Amazing.
Just holy shit. So good.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I feel like that was one of the first times where we really saw somebody who wasn't a Jedi who was like Force sensitive.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such a cool idea.
Totally.
Yeah, just the ending was...
And it made sense, because if there's something like the Force out there, why wouldn't there be people who aren't...
Jedi is just
somebody who's
person who trains in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody, it's, guys, the Force is for all of us.
Yeah, it's for all of us.
I have like zero complaints about this movie. Yeah. And obviously, the greatest Darth Vader scene.
Used to be.
Oh, well, okay, after the Obi-Wan show?
Yeah. My second favorite Darth Vader scene.
That was... I I lost my mind.
Literally
in the
shit my pants in the theater.
Yeah, I remember. You cleared out 4 rows.
It was gross. It was gross.
Like someone pooed in
but
here.
yeah, that scene was
like it was really the first time.
Not to mention, they did a beautiful job of matching the look and the rebel soldiers.
Oh man, it's seamless.
Yeah, like
seamless.
If you go back and watch Star Wars, it's like, oh my god, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's really perfect. Was. That was the first time I was ever like, Darth Vader is scary as fuck. Yeah. He was like
and
Michael.
So
he was like Michael Myers.
Yeah, and so scene. Tense when they're closing the doors.
They're screaming,
and
go,
they're
go,
just
go.
like, and all the guys playing the rebel soldiers were so selling it that they were like fucking scared.
Yeah,
because at that point in history, I'm sure Darth Vader, like later, Darth Vader became a well-known person in the universe.
Right.
But at that point, he would have been a mysterious, scary figure.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if it was pre-New Hope,
like people would have known who he was, but he wasn't in charge yet.
Yeah,
he was just a scary dude.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That was amazing.
Throwing guys on the ceiling and like.
Just shit we've never really seen before, you know?
It was amazing.
It was incredible. And then it's like, that was kind of like the...
And then that last second throwing the plans through the little door.
Oh my God,
amazing.
It worked perfectly. And then seeing Leia, even though it's like the face effects weren't...
Yeah.
They weren't great. Although it was funny when we saw it in the theater because...
they looked like her. They just had that weird uncanny valley thing.
Because Tarkin was in that. And I remember when Jordan was like, that wasn't a real guy because he looked really good.
He looked amazing. I can tell now when I go back and watch it.
At the time, though, it was really
stellar.
like,
it's really good.
Yeah,
and it was awesome to see him back.
Yeah, I loved it. It was incredible.
Yep.
So Solo. Thoughts on Solo?
We just rewatched Solo last week.
Oh shit,
Jay and I.
No kidding. I thought it was fun as hell, and it got shit on way too much.
When we were watching it, I said to Jay, I said, how can anybody not like the idea of we're going to give you a Star Wars heist movie? Because that's what it was. And it was just an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in it was great.
Yeah.
The action scenes were fantastically staged.
So good.
The train heist was unbelievable.
Really,
the whole finally getting to see the Kessel Run.
Oh, yeah. It was
that
so
was
cool,
awesome. Yeah. Alden Erickson was great.
I think people like owe that guy an apology because they were like, he should, like him as Han Solo. There's this other actor who like looks very much like Harrison Ford, and I can't remember his name. He played a young version of Harrison Ford in that like Age of Adeline. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, that dude, and then there's also the guy from Baby Driver was in the running.
Right.
Who's a great actor as well.
But it's like
Alden nailed the attitude.
That's it.
He
because
really
it's like with
played
that other
well.
guy who kind of looks like him, I feel like I'd be watching a guy doing a Harrison Ford impression, and I don't want to see that. I think that guy...
Because I was kind of on that guy's team to give him the role.
Yeah.
Just because I really wanted to see somebody who looked exactly like him. And he does the voice perfectly.
He does do the voice perfectly.
But yeah, I thought Alden did amazing.
Yeah. He did a really good... He just
really nailed the wise ass.
Yeah.
And the like being a wise ass and coming up with good plans, but also the plans aren't always the best idea. You know,
Very
all of that
Solo.
sort of, you know.
I get the how some people are like how he got the name was a little silly.
Yeah.
Solo. I mean, whatever. It's like they could have not done that. And because like this one, while they were making it, this is the one
meeting Chewbacca.
Oh, I love that.
Was brilliant.
I loved that stuff. They're showering together. So funny.
And when they're on the ship and he's like, what's your name? And he goes, and he's like, Chewbacca.
Yeah.
We're going to have to come up with a nickname.
He's like, I'm not
that was great. It was great.
Because, what they got, like, this is that one that, for those that don't know, they were halfway into filming this movie, and the directors were the guys that directed the Lego movie.
Yeah.
And as the dailies, the filming, the footage got into the studio, they're like, they're making this a comedy. Like, this isn't the direction we want at all. So then they fired those guys, hired Ron Howard to finish the movie and reshoot a lot of stuff. So it's like, if it does seem somewhat...
Thank God they did. I can imagine getting a comedy solo.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't have worked. So it's like I can understand
if
why
only somebody
people,
had intervened when they hired Ryan Johnson.
We already talked about that.
Yeah.
When some people talk about Solo being a little uneven, I can understand that because they had to like redo a lot of stuff. Also, Donald Glover was like a perfect Lando.
Oh my God. Even his inflections in his voice were 100% Billy D. Williams.
Yeah. I loved, and Billy D. loved it. Yeah.
That's what he told you?
Like, yeah. He was like, dinner? He was all right. He was out of sight. He was a Colt 45. it was like kind of insinuated that Lando and his droid were in a relationship.
It was more than insinuated.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It was pretty flat out.
And it's funny because it's like...
I'm surprised there wasn't a scene where the robot was literally like, we fuck,
Yeah.
It sounded really close to that.
Oh, it's true. And it's
there's
funny.
that one line where the robot says, my thing isn't working, so later I need you to do that thing again.
Oh, right.
It's like, ew.
Because like Lando is, and like, I mean, Billy D. Williams is he's pansexual. He's just like, I'm attracted to everybody. And so he was like, no, Lando is too. Like, Lando fucks. Like,
and he seems like that. Like
totally.
Lando's character seems like
he's
the
just
dude.
like, I love characters like that. There's a character in Doctor Who like that that's literally like, are you alive? I will hit on you. And I love that for Lando.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. And it's funny because they were talked about making a movie of Lando, and now it be a series, or the other way. It might be a series, now it might be a movie.
No, I think it was a movie, now it's a series.
With Donald Glover like writing it with his writing partner, which is awesome.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah. So I really liked Solo. I thought it was super fun.
Yeah. And I thought it was shit upon way too heavily.
Way too heavily.
And it bothered me that as a movie, it did really well. As a Star Wars movie, it underperformed.
Right.
So they instantly were like, it's a bomb.
And can we talk about the Darth Maul reveal?
Yeah.
I'm pissed that we never got anything more with that, because I mean, I know that some cartoons or other shit, like they decanonize. It's like, that's not part of the universe. Because in the comics, he came back with the robot legs.
But he did in Clone Wars, and that's canon.
Okay. Oh, that was that. Okay,
so it's canon that he's back with robot legs.
So I'm like, holy fuck! I want nothing more than to see more Darth Maul.
And that was still Ray, wasn't it? Ray Park.
Oh, Ray Park. Yeah.
Like he came back and did that little bit.
Yeah, just the voice. It was
Solo.
different because Ray Park never voiced Darth Maul. It was always someone else's voice.
Yeah.
And what's his name? That guy. He does a lot. He does the voice
Fred
of
Flintstone.
Yeah, Bonnie.
That's not Fred Flintstone.
That's Peter Griffin. I think we did that before on another episode too. No, the actor, I can't remember his name. He was in the Star Wars video games. He was a big character, and he also does the Darth Maul voice on Rebels.
Okay.
You'd know him to see him.
You know him, you love him.
Yeah, he can't remember his name, but he voiced Maul, and he voiced Maul in that as well. But they're just potential. And then, because I'm wondering if they were trying to set it up as a trilogy. Yeah, they must have been, because they teased going to see Jabba. Yep, and then it only made like 1 billion and not 20 billion. So God, what a bomb!
I wonder who they would have got to play Jabba.
I don't know, but Seth Rogen, Chewie.
Jesus, don't even start. I was thinking maybe we could do some TV stuff, but I think we'll have to do a separate episode just for TV stuff.
Okay, I was going to say TV. We could always just be like real quick, what are your thoughts on the TV shows?
Well, if you want to do it in detail. Well, I'll just say that overall, Mandalorian I dig. Yep. Like 90% of it I fully approve of. There's maybe a little bit that I was like, what?
I cried hard when Luke came back at the end of season. Like almost uncontrollable.
And you know what's funny? I remember watching that scene with Joanne, and out the window they see the X-Wing, and as soon as I saw the X-Wing, I'm like, it's Luke. Yeah. Oh my God, it's Luke. I was like a fucking little 5-year-old. It halfway
got spoiled for me, but not really, because a friend of mine, Nathan, the artist of that poster over there, Nathan. Yeah,
he's pointing at a poster, folks. That's in my office.
He literally just, because it was like close to Christmas or whatever, and I opened Facebook, and all that I saw him write was, that was about the best Christmas present I could ever hope to get, and I was like, awesome. "Fuck, it's Luke!" I just knew it.
It was awesome.
So yeah, that.
By the way, in case none of you know, we actually record this at our offices in Saudi Arabia. So,
what? What are you talking about?
People don't know where we record
Brooklyn.
this. So I'm just kidding.
Get a globe, man. We're in Australia, mate. It was almost like that Luke scene.
I can see the Eiffel Tower out our window, so I know that we're actually in Paris.
Fair. That Luke scene kind of redeemed a little bit. Like, it gave me something back, because Last Jedi and all that, like, did a poo-poo in my mouth and my brain and my heart. Yeah.
It was nice to see our Luke back.
Yeah. And it was cool to see him again on the other, where was it? Boba Fett?
Yeah, on Boba Fett.
Okay. Because
where you got to see more training with Grogu.
Yeah. And Ahsoka was on Boba Fett. That was a weird show.
Boba Fett. It was kind of all over the place, but I enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah, there was aspects I really like. I
love
riding
the shit. Rancor was fucking cool.
All the shit with the Sand People was great. Like how they're deaf and they use sign language and stuff like that.
Actually, I wasn't as big on that stuff.
What's that?
I found it a little boring.
Oh, I liked it. I really liked it. I didn't like the stuff with like the punks on the street bikes and stuff.
I wasn't
that
big on
didn't feel Star Warsy to me at all.
I wasn't big on that. But the Rancor was cool.
You were not a big Andor guy, right?
I hated Andor. I loved how it looked and everybody was great in it.
Yeah.
But it was boring as hell.
That's the thing. I like the world building. It's neat, but it was very slow. It had a couple cool moments here and there.
I liked the prison stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best part of the show.
Give me Andy Serkis any day, all day.
Yeah, it was great with him. And that storyline was interesting. But outside of that, I found the whole thing extraordinarily boring.
It was quite slow, yeah.
And I hate all the internet people that are like, finally, Star Wars for grown-ups. And I'm like, no, Rogue One is Star Wars for grown-ups. It's serious dialogue, it's serious characters, but it still is fantastical and has Star Wars things we want to see. Yeah. But this was
almost too much like people in their office Star Wars cubicles and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it was boring as shit.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Obi-Wan.
Fucking love it.
I don't understand how anybody doesn't like this show.
There's tons. There's so many people that thought Obi-Wan sucked, and I don't get it.
I don't understand it. It was...
There's so much great Star Wars shit in there. It's starting with Ewan is being one of the best Star Wars characters of all time.
Ever. I just love me some Ewan.
Adding in Leia was brilliant.
That actress was 1,000% Leia.
Oh,
like I guarantee if Carrie Fisher was alive, I know she would have like.
She was unbelievable.
Perfect. She was like her character.
And I liked
perfect.
That she wasn't a polished actor.
No,
it made her seem way more real.
Yeah,
the settings were great when they had to go to that city and they had the shootout on the rooftops and shit.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
The Vader stuff.
Kumail Nanjiani was
my god, that's
hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. Nice comic relief, and then ended up being a serious.
That's right.
Come around at the end, and I loved everything.
That fight between Vader and that's going to get me emotional too. Honestly,
it overrided the Rogue One ending for me because it was the most badass Vader stuff when he arrives on that desert planet and just starts throwing people around in the street. Oh my God,
that's right. I kind of forgot a little bit about that because the fight between...
He's literally, when he first appears on the street, everybody backs away.
Oh shit, that's right.
And he walks down the street and he pulls a person out of their window of their house, snaps their neck and drops them in the dirt. I forgot about that. Person that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then there's another person he grabs, and as he's walking, he's dragging the person behind them.
Holy shit.
Like he was so... And for me, knowing it was Hayden in the suit, made it everything for me.
Incredible. And
then the actual showdown between him and Obi-Wan was brilliant, even though I wanted to say, Obi-Wan, just fucking kill him. You're going to ease your problems in the future by so much if you just kill him.
But it's like, that's the thing is like, he felt too guilty for what he did before, you know?
But the fight was so badass.
With Vader's cracked mask.
Yeah.
And the way like the blue and the red were kind of...
the glow on them?
Yeah, kind of. And I love that you could hear Hayden's voice with the James Earl Jones voice. Joins voice. Joints, yeah.
This movie is a James Earl joint.
And just the whole thing that made me really emotional is the you didn't kill Anakin, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, here go the waterworks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love Obi-Wan.
That fight was great. And when Obi-Wan gets all the shit piled on him, the rocks,
right,
and then he comes out and then he starts commanding the rocks and throwing them at Vader.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just like, it was Obi-Wan's most...
Obi-Wan. I'm not going to do that. That's that voice. I feel uncomfortable making that.
The first Jedi from Jamaica.
Jesus.
No, when he does that, it's Obi-Wan's most powerful Jedi moment.
Yeah.
And to see him that powerful was awesome.
And some people didn't like that he went to see.
And when Darth dragged him into the fire.
Oh my God, that's right.
Come on, heavy shit.
Yeah.
Heavy.
When he went to see Luke and people were like, what? Luke didn't know him. It's Luke was 5 there. I don't remember people I met a week ago. Why would Luke remember, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that where he came up and was like, hello there to Luke.
Yeah.
Like little Luke. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was great.
What were your quick thoughts on us?
We're going longer than the first episode.
We'll quick.
Okay, go ahead. I like it. It was fun. It had some great characters.
I never watched the cartoons,
darker.
so I wasn't that invested in the characters.
Yeah. I did, so I was really cool to see some of them back.
Yeah. So overall, I didn't mind it. It took me a while to finish it.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it.
I'm hoping that's a show where season 2 is going to kick it up.
Cool. Yeah. There we go.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So there we go. There's our Star Wars, guys.
Thanks for 2-part, super long Real Ramblers episodes.
Yeah, we rambled the fuck out of that.
So thanks for tuning in and sticking with us.
Yeah.
But it's our thing. We got to talk about it. We can't just breeze through these things.
We're ramblers, not the real point formers. Point formers, they don't talk a lot. Bill and Lee making quick thoughts.
Have you got a Star Wars sign off?
And I don't have a Star Wars sign off because I did one last time.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll do a small sign off.
Okay.
And now Peter Griffin for the Real Ramblers. The Real Ramblers is a movie podcast, and I like movies. You know what movie I like? He-Man. You ever see that? You ever see the He-Man movie, the live action one? You know what I liked about it? The cartoon didn't have Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox was not in that cartoon, and that's why I like the movie.
I thought you said short.
Big fan. And Dolph Lundgren. I love him. I'm in love with him. I'm going to make love on him. Anyway, Real Ramblers.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you next time on Real Ramblers. Keep rambling.
Thanks for listening to The Real Ramblers. Follow us on Instagram at Real Ramblers. That's REEL Ramblers. And you can follow Lee at LeeHoward_art and Bill at JustTheBill1138.